Well, hello, everybody. This is John Michael. It's the third Sunday of Ordinary Time. And today we hear Jesus going into the synagogue. So he wasn't creating some kind of new religion. He was operating as a good Orthodox Jew. He went into the synagogue. He did what he was called upon to do, and that was to read the gospel and to proclaim the gospel, a great honor for an of-age Orthodox Jew. And he read the scriptures, from Isaiah, and he said, "Today the scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." Now, this was two really important lessons here. Number one is when the early church, when the Gospels or Paul or anyone talks about scripture, they're talking about the Jewish scriptures. The New Testament wasn't written or compiled yet. They were in the process of writing it. So in the early church, Jesus is scriptural, but in his own time, what that meant was he was fulfilling the Old Testament, the Jewish scriptures. Second, specifically fulfilling the Jewish scriptures about the Messiah. So he read what was clearly understood as a messianic passage, and he said, "Today, this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." And he looked at them intently when he said it. Now, can you imagine that? This was unthinkable. No Jewish man would do this. That was for the Messiah. And yet there he is in a little town, Nazareth, a little bitty synagogue, saying, "Today this passage is fulfilled in your hearing." And it's hard for them to understand that. And of course, later in the passage, we know that they take him out to the edge of town, try to throw him off the cliff. No prophet is without honor except for in his own home, Jesus says, in his own native place. So we have to learn how to see the big fulfillments of Scripture in the little things of our life. Third lesson is that, of course, on the road to Emmaus, Jesus interprets for the two disciples every passage in the Old Testament that refers to him. These are not inventions of a later church trying to throw the story of Jesus back onto Old Testament passages. We know that these came from Jesus himself. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So this messianic fulfillment is not the invention of a church trying to make Jesus into something that perhaps he never wanted to be. These passages go back to Jesus himself. He is the Messiah, the anointed one. And then we find out later that he is the Son of God, and he is the Lord. He is God. Fully human, fully divine. Pretty powerful stuff. I hope you can see these mysteries today. Let's understand that Jesus does fulfill the Old Testament, and he surpasses it. He incarnates it in his very being. See that, and you'll see everything. That's my prayer for you. I love you. All things are possible with God.